Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to your weekly reading for November 10. My name's Wendy. I have pulled the cards, but I have not looked at them yet. After we've gone through the tarot, we will look at the astrology oracle to see where specifically this reading is affecting you. Okay, Aquarius, let's see. Justice. The Fool. I was seeing playful energy. I was seeing a ball bouncing. So there's some playfulness this week. I heard recovery, a feeling there's health, good health, starting over. I heard the bright and narrow path. Okay. The Ace of Wands. The Page of Swords. It feels like someone's afraid of being judged. The Four of Wands and the Three of Pentacles. Well, that's a pretty nice reading. It looks nice and bright. So in the home, I don't know, there's somebody who's maybe a little bit nervous to come out of hiding, or they have like a trust issue. That Page of Swords could be a child, could be an animal. I feel like it's just a smaller, like an animal or a child who is a little nervous, a little tentative, but it feels like something gets their attention, and I think you're able to kind of win them over is what I'm hearing. So if there's someone who's been mistrusting or struggling, it feels like you really win them over. This is a week where everything feels like it's in its right place. Feels like you get results. It feels like things pay off. There's equality, there's balance, there's stillness. Because there is truth. And the truth sets you free. There's a little bit of rebellion here because it feels like justice is policy, procedure, doing things the right way, the adults or whatever. And then we have the Fool and the Sun, these more playful cards that are, I'm going to wear what I want to wear. I'm going to do what I want to do and see what you do about it, kind of thing. It's a little bit rebellious. And I love that their body language matches. It's like, ta-da, here I am, presentation. It's very trusting. It's a very trusting body language with the hands out to the sides like that. Because typically, when somebody crosses their arms, for example, they cross their arms over their organs to protect them. So I feel like you can tell by the body language, rather than what somebody says, you can tell obviously how they're feeling or what's really going on. I do see something being revealed this week. And I will say that with all of the signs so far, that is a major theme in the week ahead, where truths are being revealed. Things are coming to the surface. Things are, false masks and disguises are falling away, and something will be revealed. You may have to go under the surface to really investigate, but again, with justice there, it feels like there's a decision made, there's an answer, because the full picture is known, and now we can actually decide how to move forward now that we know the full picture of something. So all the information, the answer that you need is here. It feels like a week of discovery, a week of answers, and a week of decision and action, on how, like a plan with how to move forward. There's an emphasis on happiness, celebration, what makes you feel good, what makes you smile, what helps you grow. Do you need to get outside more, have more balance between the indoor and outdoor, the adult and inner child, self? It kind of feels like too much exposure. There's a little bit of a warning about too much exposure or staying in one place for too long. So you do need to get up and move a little bit. You do need to get up and move a little bit. Um, or something that you've been trying to grow might be like in the sun for too long, or it's too exposed to an air vent, or I don't know. It just feels like there's something that you realize why it hasn't been growing. It's because it's been exposed to something too much, too long. With the sun, quite literally, I do see friction burn. I do see an emphasis on the body, something with the body, corporeal self, maybe a physical representation of how you're feeling, celebrating the body, enjoying yourself naked, nude, your skin, just loving yourself unconditionally, celebrating yourself. But I do see a little bit of a friction burn there with that Ace of Wands too. There's something on the body that is evident. I don't know, are you babysitting and the child colors on the wall? It just feels like this somebody kind of maybe went a little too far with their freedom, let's say, and they're kind of, I didn't do it, and they've got like the crayon all over their face. It feels like you're building something in your life that will withstand the winds. Quite literally, some of you could be building something, structure, maybe hiring a professional to replace a fence or build a structure to protect something over the winter. Strengthen something so that the wind doesn't take it away. You know, batten down the hatches, so to speak. It feels like you have to put up reinforcements for some, I don't know, there could be a young person who's maybe a bit vulnerable. Some of you might be welcoming a child into the home and realizing how much you have to barricade everything, child-proofing everything. It feels like quite a change. But I also see that there's a project being finished this week, and these are the details that are revealed. I think some of you are getting x-rays, or you're concerned about your health. You might be concerned about your vision or your bones. And I do see that you need calcium, you need magnesium, specifically for your bone structure and your muscular health. But generally speaking, I mean, there could just be x-ray on your life or x-ray on a situation. Like, let's really look beneath the surface and see what's going on. So there is an answer that you've been waiting for, maybe a diagnosis that you've been waiting for, an answer, results of some kind. Those are really coming through this week. Like the puzzle pieces all fit together. Finally, I see what everything means. It makes sense. It's all there. And it's now proven. So there's proof. Something is quantifiably proven. Hey Aquarius, so sorry, my camera ran out of storage and I had to spend a lot of time moving some stuff around, deleting things, so let's just close out the reading. We're going to see where these messages are affecting you the most. As I said, I do see things coming together, the puzzle pieces fit, everything is seen, everything is known, and this really helps you move forward and make informed decisions. Chiron representing healing. Okay, so healing the body, of course, Chiron did end up becoming a practicing doctor, but the primal wound, the early wound, the oldest wound you have, the most vulnerable wound, how can you turn that into your strength? So something is shifting this week. And it feels like you're able to take your past experiences and there's some insight or clarity into how to use that to help others, how to move forward. Maybe you come upon an interaction where you realize how much you've healed. So this week is very much about addressing your earliest wound. And it's something very vulnerable, but it feels like you have been able to overcome this. But just healing generally, yeah. So the answer is you're going to be able to move forward. Again, I apologize for that little blip in your reading, but we'll be back next week with another. If you want a personal reading with me, my information is below.